Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to unwrap a topic that I think we can all get behind: chocolate. But listen, this is not the chocolate you grew up with. We are diving headfirst into the 2026 chocolate revolution. And trust me, it's completely changing the game, turning a simple candy into a true craft.
So that begs the question, right? What really makes for the best chocolate in 2026? As you're about to see, the answer has gotten way more complex and honestly, a lot more exciting. It's not just about being sweet anymore. This quote right here, it nails the massive shift we're seeing. The days of just grabbing whatever bar is at the checkout without a second thought, yeah, those are pretty much over. We are in a brand new era where that simple choice actually means a whole lot more. And the name for this new way of thinking is intentional indulgence. It's this idea that when we decide to treat ourselves, we're doing it on purpose. We want amazing quality. We want to know the story behind it. And we want an experience that, hits all of our senses. This one idea is the engine behind everything we're going to talk about. So first up, let's really dig into chocolate's big shift from just being candy to becoming a craft. This isn't just some passing trend. It's a deep, fundamental change in what we all value.
The new gold standard for chocolate really comes down to these three things. Health. Is it actually good for my body? Craft. Was it made with real skill and amazing ingredients? And conscience. Was it produced in a way that's good for the planet and for people? The best of the best chocolate today? It has to tick all three of those boxes, no exceptions.
Okay, so let's get into the new rules of indulgence. How are these changing values actually changing the way we eat chocolate? The scale of this change is, well, it's huge. A whopping 87% of consumers are now eating chocolate in a totally new way. This isn't some niche little thing. This is the new mainstream.
So what are this 87% doing that's so different? Well, they're celebrating minor stones. I love that term. It's about celebrating the small, everyday wins, like you finished a tough workout or you survived a long meeting. Instead of waiting for a birthday, we're reaching for these single-serving luxury chocolates as a little daily reward. Indulgence is also becoming something you can feel. It's not just about that smooth melt in your mouth anymore. Brands are getting so creative with textures that totally surprise you. Think about the fun little crackle of popping candy, the cloud-like lightness of an air-whipped ganache, or that sophisticated crunch you get from toasted buckwheat or big sea salt crystals. It's literally an adventure in every single bite.
And that leads us perfectly to our next section: flavors without borders. Thanks to a super connected Gen Z, we're seeing this explosion of international ingredients. People are calling it the South Korea effect. You know how a trend can just blow up globally overnight? That's what's happening to chocolate flavors.
And just look at the kind of flavors we're talking about. You've got those earthy, zesty notes from Japanese matcha and yuzu. Then you have these vibrant Filipino flavors like calamansi and ube making a huge splash. And you're even seeing West African-inspired bars that mix the heat of suya spice with the sweetness of plantain. Seriously, the flavor world is just wide open now.
All right, now for a look at the really deep values driving this whole revolution, this massive shift towards healthy and ethical chocolate. This is where those pillars of health and conscience really, really shine.
Let's start with a quick breakdown of dark versus milk chocolate. Milk chocolate is creamy and sweet, right? And has fewer cocoa solids. But dark chocolate, especially when you get to 70% or higher, has this amazing, complex, slightly bitter taste. And that high percentage of cocoa solids, that's the key that unlocks all its health benefits, turning it into a genuine superfood.
And the market totally backs this up. We've seen a 22% growth in dark chocolate sales. That is not an accident. It's a direct result of people actively choosing options with less sugar and more antioxidants. We are voting with our wallets for better health.
But beyond our personal health, there's the health of the planet and its people. And today's smart shoppers, they know the codes to look for. Certifications like B Corp and Fair Trade are huge green flags for ethical practices. You've got brands like Tony's Chocolonely that have built their entire mission around being 100% slave-free. And a really cool new trend is supporting brands that make the chocolate right where the cocoa is grown, keeping more of the profits in those local communities. Okay, so you know what to buy, but how do you really appreciate it? In this next part, we're going to give you a quick and easy guide to tasting like a true expert so you can go from just eating chocolate to truly experiencing it.
So the experts use a really simple method called BLIC. First up is balance. Do the sweet and bitter notes play well together? Then length. How long does that amazing flavor stick around? Next, intensity. Does it have a really rich, powerful smell? And finally, complexity. Can you pick up on those subtle secondary notes, almost like you're tasting a fine wine, maybe a little hint of berries or tobacco or even flowers?
All right, let's bring this all home and help you find your perfect chocolate bar. These are the brands that are really setting the gold standard for 2026.
Just look at the amazing diversity on this list. You've got Domori from Italy, which is famous for using this super rare Criollo bean. You've got Tony's, the ethical giant from the Netherlands, and Valrhona, the B Corp certified brand that pastry chefs absolutely swear by. Every single one of these brands is a leader because they've mastered one of the key trends we've talked about, be it craft, conscience, or just incredible quality.
So, which one should you buy? Well, it all comes down to what matters most to you. If you're a true connoisseur looking for the purest chocolate flavor, Domori is your jam. If ethics are your #1 thing, you absolutely cannot go wrong with a big bar of Tony's. And if you're trying to max out those health benefits, a super high percentage bar like this one from Endangered Species is the perfect pick.
And really, it all comes down to this thought. Chocolate has become a mirror. The choices we make in that chocolate aisle, whether we're going for single origin craft, ethical sourcing, or health benefits, they say something about the kind of world we want to live in.
So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. The next time you reach for a chocolate bar, what are you going to be looking for? What will your next intentional indulgence say about you? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.